This video is going to be about troubleshooting variances. So at the end of the day, if some of your figures, either cash or card, don't match up, this is some ways that you can go through and find where the variances are. So first off, if you have a cash variance, you want to recount your float, and if you've done your banking already, recount that. Just check that any money hasn't been unaccounted for. Also check that you have added up the closed cash correctly. Perhaps you missed out a refund. Make sure that this is all added up correctly as well. Also, when you've got expenses, just double check the receipt for the expenses, that it actually adds up to what you took from the till and the change that you put back in. There could be an error in calculations there as well. Now, it's possible that if your cash is down, then your FPOS might be up. So check your settlement inquiry against the amount of card transactions on your closed cash receipt. So for instance, if the variance is the same, let's just say your cash is actually in the till down $49 compared to your Openbravo report, but you might check your FPOS and find that your FPOS settlement inquiry is $49 greater than what Openbravo says it should be. Now, the most likely explanation for this is that someone has processed a card transaction as cash when they have completed the transaction. So it's really important to make sure that you do switch to the card option before clicking OK on a sales screen. So now you just need to go through your edit sales and find the transaction. So let's say we just look at yesterday. There might have been a variance yesterday. Let's just say we were looking for $56. We can click this and go, oh, that's probably where our variance is. Click OK. So this was processed on card. So this might explain why, let's say we were $56 down in cash, because we've processed this as a cash transaction. So what you would do is you would print this off and then staple that to your daily cash up sheet and just explain to David that the reason why there is a variance is because it was processed on the wrong payment type. Now, you can also have a wrong payment type when it comes to makeup vouchers. So also double check the number of makeovers done that day. So for instance, if we scroll down here to note input, we've got $80, so that says that someone has processed an $80 voucher in the payment type. But you might think we've actually had 2 makeovers that day, both of which had makeover deposits. So let's just say this figure is actually $80 incorrect. Then what explains that is that someone has processed a makeup voucher completely on cash when $80 worth of that should have been put as a note input. So again, go through your edit sales and try and find the transaction where that happened and print it off for David to see. Another way to take into account possible makeup deposit variances is if it's a multiple of 80 or 120. It's quite easy to pick that up. So if you're $80 out, or say $82.50 out, it's most likely that that $80 is a result of an incorrect makeup voucher. Now, what should you do if your variance isn't very obvious? Let's just say you have checked off your FPOS transactions from the FPOS machine settlement, and let's just say you are $20 less on your FPOS report than what the closed cash and Openbravo says. How would you find that? Now, one thing to check is whether, as before, you have had any $21 transactions. Let's just say there haven't been any $21 transactions. So what you need to do is go into payments and into the payments viewer. So we've got a mistake or an error somewhere in a card transaction. So in payment type, we're going to scroll down to Mag Card and look at all of the card transactions, let's say just for yesterday. So there were only a few, so this would be easy. So what you would do is you would take all of your FPOS receipts from that day and pair it up with the receipts here. So you would look for a FPOS receipt for $64.40, then one for $40, and so on. And let's just say this $41 transaction here, you couldn't find an FPOS receipt for it. So you're going to go through and check off all of your FPOS receipts, and there should be one FPOS receipt that doesn't match anything in Openbravo. And quite possibly, that FPOS receipt might say $20. Now, what you need to do is double check the time of the FPOS receipt transaction and see if it actually was this sale here. So at 4:22, it should say on your FPOS receipt 4:22 as well, or 4:23. Now what this means is that someone has actually typed into the FPOS machine an incorrect amount. So if they were to have typed $20 into the FPOS machine, then we're actually $21 missing, which explains your $21 variance. So again, go into your edit sales and search for the date and find that receipt that explains the variance and write a note to David how that variance occurred.